Hello YouTube, welcome back to a new video. Actorious here, and today we're going to be going through PSS 101 ship builds. Now quickly, before we get into the video, I'd just like to say, please do leave comments and interact with the video. It helps out a ton. I always reply to comments. And if you've got an issue in game which you need a guide for or little help with, just leave a comment, I'll make a video, you can watch it, boom, problem solved. So, let's actually get into it. What is a ship build? Well, it's effectively just what strategy you're using to defeat your opponents. You've probably already heard of a few like Gunship, Teleport Spam, Turtling, which is usually combined with other strategies, although it can be used by itself if you just want to be really passive. Now, a lot of builds, they're often combined and mixed together to make stronger builds. For instance, I am a hybrid. I have Carrier, Gunship. I don't use TLP Spam, but I do have a Teleporter. I just mix and match. I don't use penetrator missiles though, since, missiles can be really easily countered. So first off, the most basic tactic, Gunship. You just get loads of weapons and you fire away. Now focus fire is very important for this strategy. If you look at the video on the right here, I'll try and remember to put an info card on the top right of your screen now, taking you to this video. But if it's not there, you can just search up the video. But in that video, about 2-3 minutes in, I think it is, I do go more in depth about what focus fire is and how it works, some good AI you can use. I believe I have a few examples, but yeah. If you're looking for a more aggressive gunship design, you can use stuff like bolters. And now bolters, they're quite vulnerable rooms, only having 1 HP bar, which means they do require 4 armor. However, if you need that tiny bit of DPS which they provide, you can run BTs. For crew, you're going to want crew with high weapon stats, which will basically boost the reload of your weapon rooms. And you may also want defenders, arrow pairs, and a few side shield crews just to help you defend a bit. Now then, the next strategy is teleport spam. It's quite risky, but if you pull it off well, it's very effective. If you want to know more about teleport spam, I'd recommend looking at the video in the bottom left. It's called PSS 101 Telespam 2021. It's made by a fleet mate of mine called Crazy Sugoi Gaming, and as you can see, he's using the Viserys ship. The Viserys ship is a very big favourite for teleport spam, because as you can see on the top row, it's very long, which means you can line up all of your boarders and your rush command crews to just immediately run into the teleport room and send your boarders across to the other ship. Now what makes teleport spam is very risky is the fact that if your enemy has good defending crew, they'll kill all your boarders, and because all of your boarders are either rush command or boarders, you're kind of going to be messed over since your entire strategy revolves around destroying their ship with your boarders, and if you don't, it makes your ship very vulnerable. For this reason, many players who use teleport spam also use the turtle strategy quite a bit. And now that basically revolves around having android rooms and cloak, the high power shield, stuff like that. But we'll go into that on the next slide. For crew, you're going to want 100% rush command crew to get your boarders across quickly, and obviously high HP and attack boarders. It's really your choice about what boarders you want. If you're low level, zombie and zombies are good crews. Now the next strategy is pen spam. And this is another strategy which isn't really a favourite. It's a bit meh, in my opinion. The main issue with pen spam is it's a bit like Gunship, but it is far more expensive and more difficult to pull off. The main reasons for this is engines pretty much perfectly counter pen spam. And quite a few people at high levels have engines with ENG crew inside them, which completely nullify your penetration missiles, and if you can't take out their engines, you're not going to be doing any damage. Another reason pen spam isn't a very good strategy is because by default you only have 2 missile rooms. Now you can get the multi-missile launcher, which you can see on the right of the screen. However, it's only a 1 HP room, which makes it quite vulnerable, although you can put 6 armor on it. Another reason people don't really like to use pen spam is because of the sheer cost and time it takes to use this strategy. One penetration missile, which only does 1.3 hull damage, with no armor that is, and it only deals 0.2 system damage, will cost you 215 gas and 100 seconds to make. Now then, the turtle strategy. This isn't a strategy that's going to work on its own unless you're being really passive and trying to get to that 2 minute 30 mark in battles, which just makes battle end in a stalemate. Now, how the strategy works is effectively you're going to have cloak and shield rooms, both boosted by a side crew, and you're also going to have some droid rooms, and I'm fairly sure all of them, to boost their reload speed, you use an engine crew. Alright then, now as for the room options, going from left to right, first off you've got the Android Studio. It's a good room. You can run Defender, Service or Border droids, and of course you can pick between those droids and use whatever two you want. I'm fairly sure you can't use all three, since you'll have issues selecting them with AI unless you want to select them manually. Next up you've got the Viseria Mech Bay. It's basically the Android Studio, except it does cost bucks to buy, of course, and also it can only take 2 power max, while the Android Studio can take 3. Next you've got the Cloak Generator. I don't personally run this room, however some people do run it to completely neutralize the BFR. If you can have it to have a 12-14 second cloak at the start of the battle, as long as you've got at least one tick before it cloaks, the enemy will fire their BFR and it will just land while your ship is cloaked, meaning it won't do any damage. Now the cloak effectively hides your ship, and it means your weapon rooms and the enemy weapon rooms won't fire. However, they still will be able to reload. Also, if you have craft, the craft will still be able to fire on the enemy ship while you're cloaked. However, enemy craft won't be able to fire on your ship, and their weapons won't be able to fire either. Next up you've got the shield room. Everyone should know what this is. It simply forms an energy shield around your ship which absorbs damage from energy weapons, however it doesn't stop missiles. Next up you've got the Ghost Factory. Fairly good room, fairly sure it takes 2 power, and it forms quite low HP, quite low repair ghosts. I personally run this on my ship simply because the crew have the cryo freeze, which makes them good supplements to my anti-boarders. Next up you've got the Zongzi Factory. I actually once had the opportunity to buy this. Actually I've had it a couple of times, but I never have bought it because by the time I had the bucks to buy it, I was at such a high level where the droids they won't work the 2 power, because you can't actually upgrade the droids in the Zongzi Factory or the Ghostly Factory, whereas the Viseria Mech Bay and the Android Studio you can. Now then, thank you for watching. Now please, if you can, leave a comment, leave a like, do all that other stuff, and you'll probably get featured in a future video if you do leave a comment and I do end up making that video idea.